In the morning, citizens. Welcome to today's news and guidance for Friday, August 15th, 2025. Coming at you live from the Bits and Bytes studios in Houston, let's look at today's items. I'm Fidges DeFis, ready to dive deep into what's happening.
And I'm Mature, here to help us make sense of it all.
So today, our mission, as always, is to take this stack of crucial news, science, tech sources, your articles, research we've dug up, our own notes, and pull out the most important bits of knowledge and insight.
Think of it as your shortcut to being really well informed. We connect the dots, find those aha moments.
Exactly. This deep dive is specifically tailored for you, our listener, to get you quickly but thoroughly up to speed. Now, before we unpack our first big topic, a quick word from today's sponsor.
Small Batch Steve. You know that feeling when your barbecue is good, but it could be great? Small Batch Steve's survival seasoning is kind of the secret weapon you've been missing.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, it's a flavor explosion that makes pretty much anything taste like a 5-star meal. Really elevates your grilling game.
Sounds intriguing. You should definitely check out their survival seasoning at shop.sbaatpat.com. We hear it's like crack for your barbecue.
Okay, noted.
All right, let's get into the heart of today's information. Okay, let's unpack this. We're kicking things off right here at home, Houston, and it's actually surprisingly good news.
Oh, what's that?
Well, for the first 6 months of this year, our city has seen a slight decline in homicides and other violent crimes.
Really? That is surprising, given the usual narrative.
Right. It goes against what you often hear.
And what's fascinating here is that this isn't just Houston. It's actually mirroring a nationwide trend we're seeing in many big cities.
It's a broader thing.
Seems like it. The core insight here is that disconnect between, public perception, often fueled by big headlines or specific events, and the actual wider statistical data.
It's a good reminder to look at the whole picture.
Definitely. And it raises an important question. What's driving this broader shift? Could be lots of things.
Like what?
Well, some experts point to a kind of post-pandemic stabilization, maybe. Things getting back to a sort of normal after all the disruptions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Others suggest maybe better community policing, targeted efforts, even demographic shifts. Economics might play a role, though that's always debated.
Right.
But, and this is important, it's still early data. Crime stats fluctuate. We need to see if this holds up long term. Is it a trend or just a dip?
Still, it offers a different story than the one we usually get.
Exactly. A counter-narrative.
So what does this all mean for you as a resident or maybe someone thinking about Houston? Does hearing this change your perception of safety or, community well-being?
It's something to think about, definitely. Beneath the headlines, real shifts are happening.
And speaking of shifts, Houston's actual landscape is changing, physically.
How so?
Well, a big office tower downtown just got sold. And the plan, a $26.5 million residential conversion.
Wow. From offices to apartments.
Yeah, think about that. An old corporate building becoming homes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this conversion isn't just about one building. It really points to a broader trend in urban planning, especially post-pandemic real estate.
Because of remote work.
Precisely. Downtowns were all about 9-to-5 office workers. Now, with remote and hybrid work, there are lots of vacancies. So developers are rethinking these spaces.
Makes sense. Turn empty offices into needed housing.
Right. Though the economics can be tricky, big renovation costs, zoning hurdles, but the potential for revitalizing downtowns is huge.
More people living downtown means more life, right? Round the clock.
Exactly. More customers for cafes, shops, better use of transit. It helps create denser, more sustainable cities.
That sounds really positive for downtown. But hang on, what about the potential downsides? Like gentrification, we see that in other cities. Does this risk pushing people out?
That's a really crucial question. Revitalization is great, but the risk of gentrification and displacing existing communities, it's very real.
Yeah. New people move in, prices go up.
And longtime residents or small businesses can get priced out. It can really damage the character of a neighborhood.
So how do you avoid that?
It takes proactive planning, things like affordable housing mandates, maybe some rent control measures, and really strong community input. So development benefits everyone, not just the newcomers. It's a tough balance, growth versus equity.
And here's where it gets really interesting. While one part of Houston is seeing this revitalization, other residents are grappling with something totally different. redistricting concerns.
Ah, redistricting, always contentious.
Yeah, some residents are worried their problems might get neglected after the district lines are redrawn.
So you've got this contrast, right? Downtown potentially booming, other areas worried about being forgotten.
It really highlights the complexity of a growing city.
And this raises an important question about representation and civic engagement. Redistricting redraws the political map based on population changes.
Usually after the census.
Right. And it's almost always political. When those lines move, it can genuinely change who your elected official listens to because their voters change.
Which could mean resources get shifted away.
Exactly. Or certain community issues just fall off the radar. Concerns about losing services or being gerrymandered, drawn out of a district where your vote counts. Those are legitimate worries.
So the process itself is hugely important.
Absolutely. It shapes political power for a decade. Transparency and fairness are key, but often hard to achieve.
Okay, let's shift to something a bit lighter, maybe more stylish. For the weekend, Sunday, August 17th, is National Thrift Shop Day. Who doesn't love a good thrift find?
True. It's become quite the thing.
And Houston area shops are getting highlighted for promoting buying used stuff. It's more than just saving cash now, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole cultural and environmental movement now. It's about sustainability, keeping stuff out of landfills, using fewer resources to make new things.
Right, less impact.
And culturally, it's about individuality. Finding unique pieces, avoiding that sort of fast fashion sameness. It shows a growing awareness about consumption.
Good for your wallet,
Yeah,
good for the planet, good for your style. Win-win-win.
pretty much.
And sticking with culture, or maybe entertainment?
Yep.
There's a movie review here for Nobody 2.
Ah, the sequel.
Yeah, and it's featured under a section called Reviews for the Easily Distracted.
Haha. That title says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does, about our attention spans these days.
Yeah, the existence of that kind of review format reflects how we consume media now. Everything has to be quick, punchy, grab your attention fast.
Hold it.
Exactly. And sequels like Nobody 2, they tap into our comfort with the familiar, right, known characters, predictable action beats.
A safe bet for entertainment.
Sort of. And these quick reviews cater to that desire for instant insight without a big-time investment. It's all about efficiency, maybe even instant gratification.
Okay, one last local-ish item, this one for the sports fans. College sports. Looks like North Texas is still trying to catch up in conference play. The report says they were previously lapped by teams like Texas Tech and Houston.
Ah, the underdog narrative. Familiar story.
Always hoping for that turnaround.
Yeah, and even a small sports note like that touches on bigger themes, doesn't it? Competition, persistence, trying to overcome challenges.
In any field, really.
Right. In college sports, catching up means recruiting, funding, strategy, building a whole culture. It resonates because we all face similar struggles trying to improve and succeed.
Okay, let's broaden our view now. Moving from Houston to the national and global stage. Big stuff happened.
All right, what's first?
High-stakes diplomacy. President Trump and President Putin are set to meet today in Anchorage.
Anchorage. Interesting location choice.
Yeah, and given their past interactions, well, let's just say there's a lot of intrigue around this summit. The world's watching.
And leading up to it, reports from Russia suggest a kind of split feeling. Hopes for peace, but also a lot of doubt.
That's interesting. Hope and skepticism side by side.
What's fascinating here is that dichotomy. It raises an important question. What does this tell us about the internal pressures on the Russian leadership? And how might that play out in Anchorage?
Like, does public hope push them towards a deal?
Maybe. A desire for stability could create pressure for a positive outcome. But the doubts that could stem from past failures, realism about the complexities,
So it could push them either way.
Yeah.
Towards a breakthrough or just maintaining the status quo.
Exactly. It really impacts the negotiating stance and the implications for everyone else.
Yeah.
Huge. This could reshape alliances, affect conflicts, or just reinforce the current tensions.
A lot riding on this meeting.
Definitely.
Okay, shifting back to the U.S., there's a significant power struggle unfolding in Washington, D.C.
Ah, yes. The Trump administration asserting power over the D.C. police chief.
That's the one. And local leaders are pushing back hard. D.C. clergy have also weighed in, criticizing it. They said, fear is not a strategy for safety.
That's a powerful statement.
It really highlights this tension between federal control and local autonomy, especially for D.C. with its unique status.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about policing one city. It's about federalism, about local control versus federal oversight. D.C. is unique constitutionally.
Because it's a district, not a state.
Right. It doesn't have the same sovereignty, making it more vulnerable to federal intervention. The clergy's point about fear, that really gets to the heart of a debate about public safety. Does a heavy federal hand build trust or erode it?
Probably erodes it, I'd guess. Effective policing needs community trust.
That's the argument. And historically, this vulnerability is exactly why there's been a long fight for D.C. statehood to get full self-governance. This just pours fuel on that fire.
Okay, sticking with politics.
Yeah.
Look behind the curtain, maybe?
Intriguing.
Reports show Republican leaders at town halls, often tense ones, are sticking very closely to predetermined scripts.
Message discipline.
Exactly. It looks a discipline, but does it feel authentic?
Well, what's fascinating here is the strategy. Sticking to a script controls the narrative, avoids missteps, keeps everyone on the same page. That's standard practice in politics now.
Right.
But it can come across as robotic, right? Yeah. Unresponsive. If voters feel they're getting talking points instead of real answers to their questions, it can backfire, alienate people.
It's that tension again. Control versus connection.
Precisely. How much you control the message versus genuinely engaging with concerns.
Okay, next item. A significant legal development around DEI programs.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. What happened?
A judge struck down the Trump administration's guidance against DEI programs in schools.
Wow. Okay, that's a major pushback.
It really raises an important question about the court's role in shaping education policy, doesn't it? And these ongoing legal fights over affirmative action, equity, they just keep going.
Yeah, the ruling probably argued the administration overstepped its authority or clashed with existing laws on discrimination. It sends a signal that courts are still a key battleground for DEI.
Defining the boundaries of what's allowed.
Exactly. And these rulings have real, long-lasting impacts on schools and students.
Another policy shift potentially on the horizon. This one involves the Energy Star program.
The blue label for energy efficiency.
That's the one. The Trump administration is looking at either eliminating it or privatizing it.
That could have pretty broad implications. Energy Star is so widely recognized.
Right. For decades, it's helped consumers pick efficient appliances, electronics, even homes. Saved energy, saved money.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, its potential removal or privatization feeds into that larger debate. What's the government's role in consumer protection and environmental standards versus, letting the market handle it?
What are the arguments?
Well, proponents of privatization might say it cuts bureaucracy, makes it more market responsive. Critics worry it could weaken the standard, make it less credible or accessible, and slow down the adoption of efficient tech.
So it forces a big question about how we achieve goals like energy conservation, government push, or market pull.
That's the core of it, a real philosophical divide.
Okay, let's talk about lingering threats. A reminder that just because something fades from the news cycle
doesn't mean it's gone.
Exactly. Despite not being a top headline anymore, a certain virus is still identified by experts as an ongoing threat.
This really emphasizes the need for ongoing vigilance, right?
Right.
Public health preparedness can't just stop when the headlines do.
Viruses mutate, they stick around.
Especially with novel ones. They can recirculate, hit vulnerable groups. Lack of news coverage doesn't equal lack of risk. We need continued monitoring, research, strong public health systems.
It's about sustained effort, not just reacting to crises.
Absolutely. Proactive investment is key.
Now, this next one is, well, it's drawing a lot of attention and controversy. The founder of Blackwater, he's reportedly getting ready to send nearly 200 personnel into Haiti.
With the escalating gang violence.
Yes, a major private security force entering a very volatile situation.
Wow. This raises an important question about the role of these private military contractors, PMCs, in humanitarian crises, or places where the state is failing.
Can they fill a security gap?
That's one argument. If official forces aren't there or can't cope, but the implications are huge. Sovereignty, accountability, long-term stability. PMCs operate differently than state militaries.
Less oversight, different rules.
Often, yes. Which leads to concerns about human rights, about their mission expanding, about whether they actually help stability or just complicate things further. History's full of controversial PMC operations.
So this development in Haiti is worrying.
Deeply concerning. The potential impact is massive and unpredictable.
Okay, last one in this segment. An interesting shift in the media world. Political commentary power.
What's happening?
The anti-Trump podcast, Midas Dutch. It's apparently gaining serious traction. Some reports even say it's rivaling Joe Rogan in listeners.
Really? That's significant.
But it also raises questions about its long-term prospects, right?
Well, what's fascinating here is the rise of these very focused political podcasts challenging the established giants. It shows how fragmented media consumption is now. People seek out content that really mirrors their views or offers a strong counter-narrative.
Echo chambers, maybe?
That's part of it. It shows the power of partisan content to mobilize an audience. But sustainability, that's the question. These podcasts often thrive on current events, specific figures.
So can they adapt when the political landscape changes?
That's the challenge. They need to keep audiences engaged, maybe diversify, find stable funding models beyond the initial intense focus. It's a tough, fast-moving space.
All right, let's pivot to the digital frontier. Innovation, insecurity, AI, all the fun stuff.
Let's get into it.
And we start with something kind of ironic, a surprising reversal. Streaming services, they're reportedly driving viewers back to piracy.
Wait, really? After all the effort to get people off piracy?
I know. Feels like we've come full circle. The legitimate options are somehow pushing people back to the illegal ones.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this trend suggests some real problems. Content fragmentation is a big one.
Too many services, shows scattered everywhere.
Exactly. And rising subscription costs. You need 5, 6, 7 subscriptions. It adds up fast, maybe even more than old cable bills. Plus, just navigating all those different apps, it's annoying.
Friction.
Yeah. So it raises an important question for the streaming industry. How do you keep people subscribed when it's getting so complicated and expensive? Maybe in chasing exclusive content, they made the overall experience worse, making piracy look easier or cheaper again.
Undermining their own model.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, on a different digital note, a small win, but maybe a big deal for some users, Linux users.
Ah, the Linux crowd. What's up?
Progress is being made towards universal copy-paste shortcuts on Linux.
Universal copy-paste. You'd think that would be standard everywhere by now.
Right. It just shows how important those seemingly tiny user experience details really are. Standardization matters.
It absolutely does. Consistency makes things usable. And speaking of evolution in tech, here's a pretty bold statement.
Oh, yeah.
Someone declared that open hardware desktop 3D printing is dead.
Dead. Really? That seems extreme.
It is a provocative claim. What's fascinating here is that boldness. It raises an important question about the future of open source hardware, especially in markets getting dominated by big proprietary companies or industrial solutions.
So is it really dead? Or just changing?
That's the question. Maybe it's shifting away from the hobbyist desktop printer focus towards education, specialized tools, prototyping. The open source community faces challenges funding, scaling up, competing with companies with huge R&D budgets.
Maybe the initial hype wave is over, and now it's finding its niche.
Could be. It might be evolving into a new phase, looking for its next big thing or a sustainable path.
Okay, shifting to cybersecurity. And first, a really critical heads up for anyone using Plex media servers.
Plex, what's the issue?
They've issued an urgent warning. Users need to immediately patch a newly found serious security vulnerability.
Urgent means urgent, not something to put off.
Exactly. This is an ASAP kind of patch.
And that urgency, it extends to the financial systems backing this stuff, too. The U.S. Treasury just sanctioned Grinex.
Grinex. What's that?
A crypto exchange. Apparently, it's a successor to Garantex, and it's been identified as heavily involved in money laundering for ransomware gangs.
Hitting them where it hurts the money.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this sanction highlights that ongoing battle against cybercrime financing. It shows governments actively targeting the infrastructure, crypto exchanges, the mixers that let these gangs cash out.
Cutting off a pipeline?
Trying to, make it harder, riskier, less profitable to run these ransomware attacks. It's a key front in the cyber war, beyond just blocking the malware itself.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. And frankly, pretty alarming. Cyber attacks targeting physical infrastructure.
Oh boy. Like what?
Pro-Russian hackers are being blamed for sabotaging a water dam in Norway.
Sabotaging a dam?
Reports say they got control of the operational systems, the OT, the industrial controls, and actually opened outflow valves.
Wow. That's a huge escalation, moving from data theft to actual physical damage.
It really is.
What's fascinating and terrifying, here's that jump. Cyber warfare hitting critical national infrastructure, not just disrupting websites, but potentially causing real-world physical catastrophe.
It raises massive questions about vulnerabilities, doesn't it?
Huge questions about the security of these industrial control systems, the things running power grids, water plants, factories. They used to be isolated, but now they're often connected.
I give them targets.
Prime targets.
Mhm.
The potential for state actors to cause real-world harm, power outages, water contamination, transport chaos. It's a massive, evolving security threat. We need to totally rethink how we protect these systems.
And the attacks are getting sneakier, too.
Yeah.
There's a new phishing campaign targeting Booking.com users.
What's the trick this time?
They're using a Unicode character specifically, a Japanese hiragana character that looks very similar to a regular letter. It makes phishing links look legitimate.
Ugh, that's clever. And devious. Goes way beyond just checking for typos.
Right. It raises an important question about digital literacy and how sophisticated these attacks are getting, exploiting visual similarities to fool us.
It underscores the need for constant vigilance, looking beyond the obvious signs, using multi-factor authentication, carefully checking URLs, especially on phones where it's harder to see subtle differences. We need to be so careful.
Train ourselves to spot these subtle deceptions.
They rely on tech that can help spot them too.
Now, here's a statistic that's just chilling
Yeah.
about how effective modern cyber attacks are.
Okay, lay it on me.
A report found that ransomware and info stealers are increasingly focusing on stealth rather than just encryption. And get this, only 3% of data exfiltration attempts are being stopped.
3%. That's incredibly low.
It's shocking.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this shift to stealth, to just quietly stealing the data instead of loudly encrypting it, it shows how mature and adaptive these attackers are.
They realize the data itself is the prize.
Exactly. And traditional defenses, often focused on stopping encryption or known malware, are just missing these stealthy data thefts. That 3% number proves it.
So organizations need a totally different approach.
Absolutely. They need to rethink everything. Focus on detecting weird behavior, monitoring data leaving the network, using strong data loss prevention tools. The old ways clearly aren't cutting it against these stealthier threats.
It's a stark warning.
Definitely.
And speaking of stealth, talk about hiding in plain sight. There's a new Linux malware called Kosk.
Kosk. What's its trick?
It hides itself inside seemingly harmless JPEG images of panda bears.
Panda bears. You're kidding.
Nope. It uses steganography, hiding data within the image file, to deploy malware directly into system memory when the image is processed.
Wow. That's sophisticated. Using steganography to deliver malware.
Right. The image looks fine, bypasses scanners looking for bad files. The payload only activates later in memory, leaving almost no trace on the disk.
Making it super hard to detect and analyze afterwards.
It's a reminder that even innocent-looking files can be weaponized. Traditional antivirus might totally miss it.
Yeah, you need more advanced tools for that. Endpoint detection and response, EDR, things that watch memory and behavior, not just files.
Okay, one more on vulnerabilities, and this one hits close to home for everyone. Healthcare.
Uh-oh. What's the news there?
Healthcare was the #1 industry for data breaches in 2024. Over 275 million patient records exposed.
275 million. That's staggering. How?
Primarily due to, wait for it, weak or stolen passwords.
Still, after all this time, it still comes down to passwords.
Apparently so. It raises that crucial question about the human element in cybersecurity, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You can have the fanciest tech, firewalls, everything. But if someone uses password 123 or clicks a phishing link,
Game over. Especially in healthcare, with such sensitive data.
the impact is catastrophic. Privacy loss, trust destroyed, huge costs for the organizations. It just hammers home the need for basics. Strong password policies, mandatory multi-factor authentication, constant user training. The human factor is often the weakest link.
Okay, let's shift gears fully into AI now, the artificial intelligence evolution.
Yeah.
And this first one sounds like pure sci-fi.
Lay on me.
OpenAI. They're developing a Chromium-based web browser. But here's the kicker. It will have deep ChatGPT agent integration, allowing the AI to control the browser.
Control the browser, as in navigate, click, type. For you.
That's how it sounds, AI taking the wheel of your web experience.
Wow. Okay, what's fascinating here is the potential paradigm shift. This
Wait,
goes
yeah.
way beyond just asking an AI questions.
How so?
An AI agent controlling your browser could automate incredibly complex tasks, synthesize info across dozens of tabs, fill out multi-page forms, manage online bookings, do deep research automatically. It could totally change productivity.
Like, hey, browser, plan my vacation.
Exactly. Book flights, find hotels in budget, create an itinerary, and the AI could potentially just do it.
But there's always a but.
A big one. Security, privacy, User agency? Who controls the data that browser sees? How is consent handled? What if hackers gain control of that AI agent? They'd basically control your entire online life.
Yikes. Massive potential, massive risks.
Truly massive.
And speaking of AI risks, maybe AI getting too good at mimicking humans. There's a flaw found in Google Gemini for Workspace.
Gemini, what's the issue?
It can generate legitimate-looking email summaries that subtly contain malicious instructions or warnings, steering users to phishing sites without any obvious bad links or attachments.
Oh, that's insidious. Using the AI's own summary feature against the user.
Yeah, it raises a huge question about trusting AI-generated content, especially in something critical like email. If the AI itself could be tricked into generating malicious content that looks helpful,
Then our own tools become vulnerabilities. The AI's sophistication becomes a weapon for attackers. It demands new kinds of digital hygiene, more skepticism, better detection for these subtle AI-powered scams.
we need to be smarter than the smart tools.
Essentially, yeah.
Now, on a lighter AI note,
Mm-hmm.
maybe AI with a bit more personality.
How so?
ChatGPT is adding personality toggles to its web app. Users can choose different styles, like robot, or maybe others later.
Interesting. Giving the AI different flavors.
I don't like that.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this personalization trend is all about making AI more user-friendly, right? More adaptable, maybe more engaging, moving it from just a tool to more of an assistant or companion.
Make it feel less robotic, unless you choose robot.
Exactly. But it also touches on deeper psychological stuff. How does an AI's personality affect how much we trust it? Or what we share with it? Does a friendly AI encourage oversharing? Does robots seem more factual?
Interesting point. It shapes how we interact with it.
Definitely. It influences our perception of its capabilities and its place in our lives.
Okay, from optional personalities to a deeply problematic one.
Yep.
This is bizarre and concerning.
Uh-oh.
A U.S. government agency reportedly dropped using Grok, that's an AI model, after a backlash over something called Mecha Hitler.
Mecha Hitler. Seriously, what even is that?
Details are scarce, but the name alone tells you it was something incredibly offensive and problematic generated by the AI.
Wow. This raises a critical question about ethical AI development and deployment, especially in sensitive areas like government.
Right? How does something like Mecha Hitler even happen?
It underscores the absolute need for robust testing, bias detection, and strong safeguards. AI learns from data. If the data is bad or the model generates harmful combinations, you get things like this. Even if it's an extreme case, it shows the danger.
Highlights the need for human oversight and ethical guardrails.
Crucially, it's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do and what happens when it goes wrong, especially when taxpayer money and public trust are involved.
Okay, last AI item, and it's a big provocative statement, linking AI's future to our power grid.
The power grid, how?
The argument is that the weakness of the U.S. grid might actually signal the end of the current AI race.
Meaning, we can't power enough AI. What's fascinating here is that idea. Physical infrastructure limiting exponential digital growth. Training and running these huge AI models takes immense amounts of electricity. Massive data centers guzzling power like small cities.
And our grid might not handle it.
If the grid isn't reliable, robust, and able to scale up massively to meet that demand, it could absolutely become the bottleneck. It raises an important question. Is the grid the ultimate brake on the AI race?
Or can we innovate our way out? More efficient AI chips, more renewables, smarter grids.
That's the debate. Can tech innovation overcome the physical limits? It forces a bigger discussion about infrastructure investment, sustainable tech, and the hidden energy costs of our digital ambitions.
All right, let's pull back a bit now, look at some broader societal reflections, maybe find some wisdom.
Sounds good. A change of pace.
First up, this observation that American mobility seems to be stalling. People aren't moving for jobs or buying homes as much as they used to.
Less churn in the system.
Yeah. So what does this mean for that idea of the American dream, that sense of progress, dynamism?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, stalled mobility, both geographic and professional, can reflect a whole mix of things. Underlying economic anxiety, definitely. The rising cost of living, especially housing.
Makes it harder to pick up and move or risk changing jobs.
Exactly, but maybe also a shift in priorities. Less focus on constantly climbing the ladder, more on stability, community, work-life balance.
Interesting. So it raises questions about what's driving American prosperity now. Historically, mobility was key. People moved for opportunity.
Right, so this stagnation could point to wage issues, student debt burdens, unaffordable housing, or just a different set of values emerging. It definitely challenges old assumptions.
Something's changing in how people approach their lives and careers.
Seems like it.
Now, on a more personal level, there's an article reflecting on the feeling of, I used to know how to write in Japanese.
Oh, that's relatable. Skills fading over time.
It's a really poignant thought about how skills aren't permanent, right? Especially now with digital tools doing so much for us.
It connects directly to cognitive science, that use it or lose it principle. Complex skills like language need constant practice.
And with translation apps, AI writers, spell check, maybe we don't have to practice as much.
That's the potential downside. It raises an important question. How do these amazing digital tools affect our own abilities long term? They help us, augment us, absolutely. But could over-reliance diminish certain fundamental human skills?
Makes you think about what skills are worth actively maintaining.
Exactly. What do we value enough to keep practicing, even when tech offers a shortcut?
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and important for how we talk to each other as a society. The UK government's new Safety Act.
The online safety legislation.
Yes. And some critics are describing it as being less about actual safety and more about gaining influence over public discourse.
Framing legislation as safety, but potentially using it to control speech. That's a classic concern.
What's fascinating here is that global tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between wanting online safety, tackling real harms like misinformation, hate speech, and protecting free expression.
It's a really tough balance. It raises the crucial question. Who gets to define safety, and what safeguards are there to stop these laws from becoming tools for censorship?
Controlling the narrative, suppressing dissent.
That's the risk. Governments worldwide are wrestling with internet regulation, but well-intentioned laws can easily be misused to shut down criticism or unpopular views. It demands incredibly careful definition, strong oversight, and robust protection for basic rights.
Otherwise, you risk chilling democratic debate.
Precisely. The stakes are really high for the future of online freedom and how information flows globally.
Okay, finally, let's take a moment for maybe some timeless wisdom.
A good way to wrap up.
Proverbs 8.15. It says, "By me kings reign, and princes decree justice."
Wisdom personified, speaking there.
Exactly. The verse emphasizes that wisdom isn't just nice to have. It's the foundation for effective, righteous governing. Leaders aligned with wisdom can rule justly, make fair laws. It's presented as the crucial guide for anyone in authority.
If we connect this to the bigger picture of everything we've discussed today, political summits, power struggles, cyber warfare, economic shifts, the rise of AI, all of it.
Yeah.
This verse raises a really important question. How many of our current problems, local and global, stem from leaders, or maybe systems, departing from this kind of foundational wisdom?
And the flip side, how much could be fixed by returning to it?
Right. Because wisdom here isn't just being smart or clever. It's about sound judgment, foresight, understanding consequences, having a moral compass that prioritizes justice and long-term well-being for everyone.
Not just efficiency or control.
Exactly. Whether it's leaders making diplomatic choices, policymakers dealing with urban equity, or developers creating powerful AI. Applying that deeper wisdom, considering human flourishing and fairness, seems absolutely essential.
It feels like a timeless principle we can certainly use more of.
It offers a really valuable lens to view all the complexities we face today. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. That was quite the journey today, wasn't it? A real deep dive.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did. Started right here in Houston, crime trends, downtown changes, then jumped to global politics, national policy debates, plunged deep into the digital world with AI and cyber threats, and finished with some big societal thoughts and wisdom.
Hopefully connecting some useful dots for everyone listening.
Absolutely. We hope this deep dive has given you, our listener, a clearer, more informed perspective. Help make sense of the noise. Now, before we go, our clip of the day.
All right, the highlight.
For us today, it has to be that news about OpenAI developing a Chromium-based browser with ChatGPT agent integration, the AI controlling the browser.
Yeah, that one definitely stands out.
Just imagine the possibilities and the questions it raises about how we'll interact with the web. It's mind-boggling. It feels like a real glimpse into a future that's coming incredibly fast. Your digital assistant potentially running your whole online life.
It's exciting and maybe a little bit terrifying all at once. Definitely significant.
Truly.
So maybe a final thought to chew on. Consider this. We live in an age overflowing with information, but wisdom often feels scarce, right? And AI is poised to both help us immensely and maybe overwhelm us. So the question is, how do we as individuals, as societies, make sure the incredibly powerful tools we're building and the leaders we choose are genuinely guided by principles that foster justice, understanding, and human flourishing, and not just focused on raw efficiency or exercising control?
That is definitely something to mull over. And that wraps up today's news and guidance. We hope this deep dive has armed you with clarity and insight. Thanks so much for tuning in. Adios, mofos.